How's it going, everybody? We're here with another Horn Talk episode. We're going to do Big Blue right there. So we'll get you guys sit in the other room and get a sound clip of her and do some explaining on it. So here we go. Alrighty. I'm sure that was plenty loud. We'll get her all disconnected here and talk about what we got here. Alrighty, and we will bring this one over into the better lighting since it's such a dark colored horn. Get her upright. There we go. Alright. So, we have the beautiful and beefy K5HL, a CSX K5HL to be exact. It has, let's see if I can show you guys, this is pretty dark. Can we get in there? There we go. 109K serial tag. And the paint is just thin enough where you can still see the Nathan air chime and all that good stuff on there, so that's kind of neat. This is my second, let's see, this was my very first K5HL, my first CSX horn, and I think it was my third or fourth completely original horn, as far as like paint and it being all from the factory. This was a pretty sweet pickup that I got at the locomotive shop that I used to hang around. They had a unit in there that was getting some pretty extensive work done to it. I don't know why. It was a pretty new unit at the time, so I don't know if something went wrong or what the story was on that, but they had a lot of big parts off of it, and I was able to get the horn from her, and they ended up just putting a brand new one on there. But this one was really cool. I was kind of geeking out when I saw this, because this was also my my first really new horn that has the had the Nathan air chime back caps on it. And I really love these back caps because they really went back to kind of the older way of doing things with a lot sharper lettering thrown in the mix there. It's back to a big bubble, and then back to wide font, which is really cool. I love these back caps. And the horn itself is just absolutely gorgeous. It's got a few little chips here and there, but I'd say at least probably 99% of the horn is still in all of its original paint, and it's in really good condition overall. You have some areas of the manifold that didn't really get sprayed that well, or not at all, some cases there. But each bell got sprayed pretty good. Even inside some of these got sprayed pretty good. Like I said, just little areas like that here and there, but overall the paint on this thing is absolutely gorgeous. I love the paint on this horn. I love CSX blue, their newer darker blue. I love that color, and this horn looks fantastic in it. And you can see my reflection in there. It shows you just how shiny this paint really is. Came out really nice on the back caps. So yeah, this was definitely, I was really excited to get this. It's got the patented on the manifold on that, and then it's got the notch on the front, which is actually the back, or it's the front, but you know. And it says Ethan because the that notch is right where the N is, so don't really know why they even bother putting that on there if it's going to be, you know, misspelled after they do that, but it's kind of cool. It's the newer style manifold. Has a little diamond L on there for the casting. Some areas of the manifold actually have really good paint on it. Like I said, some areas didn't like hardly get any paint. And then the bells themselves, even the underside of the 2 and the 4 really got a nice covering on them. This horn even still has its original mounting gasket. I've attempted to pull that off of there, and that sucker is really on there, so it's not really affecting anything. Doesn't block the threads at all. It's more than big enough right in the middle there. Doesn't hinder the bolts coming through, so I just kind of left it on there. And it's kind of neat because I mean it's been painted. Some areas the paint kind of fell off, but so it still has its original mounting gasket, because these don't use the gasket pad like the K5HLs do, because they're normally on a pedestal. These guys get put right onto the top of the hood, and so this is really all they get, is just this kind of a thinner, I don't know if you can really see what kind of material that is. It's kind of like it's not really a paper gasket, it's just kind of whatever it's made out of. I'm not 100% sure, but so it's kind of neat. It still has its still has that. It's got all the correct bells. It's not a hybrid horn at all. It's it's got a standard 3 bell. It's got the 1L, the 1 bell, the regular 2 bell, and with this being a much newer horn, it is, can't really tell, but it is a deep bore 2, of course. And then flip her all the way around here, and then oh boy, let's see if I can get it focused. There we go. And then just the normal 4 bell. And this thing is an absolutely gorgeous working example of a modern day K5HL. She's super beefy, has that real loud tone, just a beautiful horn. This horn is just as beautiful sounding as it is to look at, so I really like having this one. So yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to tell about it. I mean, not a lot of history on it, of course. It's a somewhat of a newer horn. I think I got this back in 2018, early 2018, I believe. I don't know. Might have even been 2017 or 2018. I can't remember. It's been a long time ago. And I've kept her in original condition since then. I did have the slip over debris covers on there for quite a while, and I don't know, I kind of just decided to take those off. This horn did not have those debris covers on it when I got it anyway. You can see that on the bells, other than where my dust is, I should really dust this off. There's no damage to the paint where the debris cover would have been, and then the insides of the bells are painted really well. I know sometimes they'll slap those on a new horn, and then the horn will get painted with those on it. I've seen that a couple times. But when I got this horn off of the locomotive, it did not have any sort of debris covers on it. It was a 3400 series Gevo that this came off of. So at the time, it was a fairly new locomotive, I think. That's why I didn't really ask too many questions on why it was in the shop. I seen the horn and I was like, hey, can I have that? And they're like, yeah, sure. So that was kind of a really cool find here. It did have I did do a restoration on it. It was covered with soot, somewhat decently. And you can see the paint survived it for the better part, except just for these little flaky areas that were probably where the metal itself wasn't really clean enough for the paint to stick on there really well, and then just with being out in the weather for however much time it was able to get some chips in it or some paint flaking off just from it not being painted the best in certain areas. Let's see, what the heck was I saying? So yeah, it was pretty sooty. You could tell that it was, blue. It wasn't completely blacked out yet, but it was very sooty and dirty. So we cleaned it up pretty decent. Really took my time on this one because I absolutely loved this paint. So I took a lot of time and care into making sure I didn't lose any more paint than what was already lost. So any paint that you do see missing is from before I got my hands on it. Took a lot of time to get that soot off very carefully, and didn't use anything abrasive on the paint. Pretty much just took PB Blaster and sprayed them down, let it set a while, and then went back with a wet sponge and just kind of carefully wiped everything down under running water. So that way there was no particulates really dragging on the paint or anything, just to really save that shine. Because I love how this thing shines. It's super dark, but she is super shiny. So took a lot of time and care into preserving all that. Internally, there actually was a fair amount of staining inside the power chambers, which was really surprising. But I cleaned up the power chambers, addressed the nozzles. The nozzles were in still really good condition. You could still see original machining marks on the nozzles. Basically, it was just soot and some staining that had started to occur in there. So I stripped everything down really good. This was another one that I was really meticulous at when I took apart. Made sure every single bolt, whether it be a back cap bolt or a foot bolt, even the diffuser ring bolts, I made sure that those all went right back where they came out of, because you can see I saved the paint as much as possible on the bottoms of the bolts. And then, of course, the heads got a little tore up just from disassembly. Still quite a bit of paint on there, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, she came out really nice. Still has everything original, the original diaphragms, original cushion rings. Like I said, all I did was I took it apart, labeled everything as I was setting it out, and then took my time. Took me about, I think it took me a whole weekend of just taking my time on this one, making sure everything was good with it. Did some sound work with it just to make sure everything was level. Really nice. I didn't have to didn't flip any diaphragms. I didn't switch any cushion rings, and I definitely did not swap any back caps. I did not want to. I wanted to keep this thing 100% original, and I did a pretty darn good job at that. Hopefully the audio isn't too bad. I know I say that in every video, and I'm sure you guys get sick of hearing me say that, but it's a basement, so I mean we're not really working with a whole lot here, so but I'm sure you guys could hear just how clear tone she is. Like I said, I did a lot of clean up on the insides. The back caps got internally cleaned really well. I made sure that all of the vent holes were not clogged, and just little things like that I take care of when I do my cleaning processes. This one just took a little bit longer just because I wanted to preserve that paint as much as possible. And then yes, I gave it the name Big Blue because it is a very large blue horn. So that's kind of where the nickname came from. Pretty simple. But yeah, hopefully you guys like the little show and tell here of this one. She's a beautiful horn. This was one of my kind of earlier ones. I got this back when I was living in Iowa, so I had to take a lot of time and make sure it survived my move up to Minnesota. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of it. Comments, questions, any more questions, anything that I didn't cover on this that you'd like to know. I will be doing a little update video pretty shortly after I upload this one, because I got a couple things going on right now that I just kind of want to tell you guys. I know I just did an update not that long ago, but since then I got a horn back together, and I got a part in and almost got a horn together, so I'll just kind of explain some of that to you guys in the next video. So yeah, till next time everybody, take care.